of free and fair election. And secondly, he needs to test a kind of referendum of his popularity because he came in as a protest vote by the electorate. And he wanted the electors to assess and evaluate his government. He made it very, very clear, I'm going to conduct a free and fair election, and whoever wins the election, I will give it to him. Behold, we went into an election, the PDP have 4 local governments out of the 13 local governments we have, while the APC has 9. It's only happened in Nassarawa State, no any other place that will happen. Let me get back to the question you asked, the rights of the governor. You see, like I said, I started this program by talking about constitutional democracy. We're talking about principles of separation of power. The governor's not just rights, his constitutional powers are clearly enshrined in the Constitution. So also is that of the legislature. Allow everybody carry out his duties. It is not a situation whereby you have governor, the same party, members of the legislature, the same party. What you end up having is rubber stamp assembly, which is a common phrase in this country. The executive does whatever they want to do, and the legislature will just approve of it. You don't get the real test of constitutional democracy under that kind of circumstance. But where you have a reasonable, or where you even have the legislature controlled by a different political party, and you have an executive controlled by a different in fact, that is where you see the real working of democracy.
Okay, let me ask you then. Let me ask you, you were a legislator in Nassarawa State.
Yeah.
How much do legislators in Nassarawa State earn? You must remember. You can't tell us.
I'm not saying no. I'm not saying no. I'm not saying absolutely.
Because
absolutely. Now,
it looks like you're thinking about it.
By virtue of Section 111 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, legislators don't determine their remunerations, but it is being done by Revenue Mobilization and Fiscal Commission. So Revenue Mobilization and Fiscal Commission clearly defines or clearly recommended what the salaries and remunerations of a State House of Assembly member is, which is within the range. You know, the basic salary is 1,300,000 per annum. If you divide it by 12, it gives you about 100 and something thousand naira. But there are other bills up.
So
entitlements, this and this,
while you were in
about 700,000-800,000.
While you were in the State House
during my own time, it wasn't up to that because
so the take up, you weren't earning 50,000
my take up then was about 700,000. Basic salary, including allowances. Don't forget, there is also what we call running costs. I want to clear this impression, not just Nassarawa State House of Assembly, even at the National Assembly, where they talk about salary. No. There is a clear distinction between your official salary and what is your own running cost. Running costs are retirable. As a committee on information, for instance, as a committee or as a majority leader, because I serve as a majority leader, the office of a majority leader has a running cost of 1 million naira. And that 1 million naira per month. And that 1 million naira has to be retired. Because I have to explain, it does with maintenance of the official vehicles, purchase of stationaries, entertainment, public relations, press relations, name it. You do it from that.
So where does the rumor come from then when you hear something like about 4 million naira coming to a member of the State House of Assembly?
We are, even though I don't want to speak for them.
Are you saying that they don't earn that much?
I don't want to speak. The truth of the matter is that is not the salary of a member of the State House of Assembly.
How much is in the budget for this financial year, for example, for the State House of Assembly?
I think the budget of the State House of Assembly is within 2 billion or thereabout.
And you've got 24 people there.
Yeah.
So 2 billion, what is it they use that 2 billion for?
The Assembly is in a better position to explain that. But don't forget, the Assembly is self-accounting, it's autonomous, self-accounting. No, so money appropriated to it is at their discretion to expend. No, it's not for us to decide for them. No, in fairness, look, in fairness, I'm even commenting on that aspect by virtue of the fact that I was not just a member, but a majority leader of the House of Assembly. Okay. So I could speak to some extent. But then the fact of the matter remains that it is an arm of government, it is self-accounting, it is autonomous, they have been appropriated, how they spend their money, they are to account for it. The executive has no business with that.
Okay. All right. Alera, you were going to ask a question.
Yes, I was going to say that part of the stories we're hearing,
Yes.
apart from them taking home 4 million a month, is also that they get 10 million a year for foreign trips. Then they have 30 million for constituency projects.
Well, I will still go back to what I have said.
You can't comment on
I
it.
don't want to comment for the House of Assembly, but you see, yes, there are provisions for constituency services.
Okay.
Yes, there's provision for constituency services.
Okay, we'll
yes,
have to
that
wrap up now. How do you, Jibrin Dachi, how do you see things panning up, and how do you think this is likely to affect governance, where there are consistent rumors that the governor may be impeached by 20 out of 24? You have a majority that is substantial and that is very obvious and potent to remove the governor if they so desire, 2015 or no 2015. How do you think this is affecting governance?
I think just like my opening remark, I am looking at it from the security implication of decisions that are taken by our politicians. Our democracy is in a state that our politicians must be very careful. They must be very subtle in how they take decisions, and when they take decisions, they look at the overall implication, not just in their state but at the national level. And why am I saying that? Is that, for instance, if you are in the opposition, because at the national level you find that even National Assembly members who are in the same party with the president sometimes criticizing. That is democracy. And we are not saying that they shouldn't do their oversight function, but they should also understand that the governor was voted in by the majority of the people, and that is very important. And therefore, they have to look at the implication. If you take decision to remove the governor, what is the security implication of that, and what reason are you removing for? Is it in the interest of the people, the ordinary people of your state? If it is Nassarawa, if it is Niger, if it is Lagos, are you doing that on behalf of the people? Are you doing it because he has not delivered on the democracy dividend? Or
is it affecting governance, though?
Very well. That's what I'm saying. But when the state, already a state, you know now, as we are today in Nigeria, the security forces are deployed in 28 states. When consistently a governor wakes up, rather than concentrating on his job, what he thinks about is how to try to appease people who should ordinarily do their job. There's nothing bad about State House or Assembly oversighting their job. That is part of their primary result, but it shouldn't be done with threat.
Okay.
And I'm not talking just about Nassarawa. In addition, all the
states across the nation. So your final word: is the governor able to carry out his function without fear or favor, or is he living in fear and trepidation about what the State Assembly might do or not do?
In fact, to be very honest with you and on authority, the so-called speculations, allegations does not in any way stop the governor from his sleep. And it does not, because to us we see it
as... So he sleeps with both eyes closed.
We see it as distractions. But my governor has not yielded or succumbed to those distractions. He remains very focused, very determined to accomplish the dictates of his own mandate. Don't forget, you see, if you know what you're doing and you enjoy the support, or you carry the people, the ordinary people along with you, you will have no cause to fear. I always advise the governor, personally, being a former legislator, I owe him that response. Your Excellency, in dealing with the state legislature, it is a human institution. They are human beings. We must be constructive in engaging them. What do? Is rule of law. The Constitution and the laws of the State House of Assembly. The first question is, what is the law saying and what is the Constitution saying? So long as we do not infringe of any of this, we have no cause to lose our sleep.
Thank you very much. On that note, we'll have to say thank you very much, Abdulhamid Yakubu Kwara, who is Senior Special Assistant on Public Affairs to the Governor of Nassarawa State. Thank you for coming on Sunrise this morning.
Thank you, it's my pleasure.
Thank you. Jibrin Dachi, who is the security correspondent.
Defense.
Correspondent of Blueprint newspaper. Thanks for coming.
Thank you
on
for the
show.
opportunity.
And I must also mention again that we did ask Honorable Mohammed Baba Ibaku, Chairman, House Committee on Information, to feature on this program, but he did not completely or outrightly decline. He just said that he is unable to, at this point in time, to be a part